Hey there. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Kelly. I am a support specialist here at Next Chapter. And today I'm just going to go over some of what we're calling the hidden features of Next Chapter. It's basically just some overlooked features that you might not even know exist within your account. So I'm just going to touch base on a couple of those. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send those questions to the right of your Crowdcast window. It says say something nice in the field, so if you want to ask a question there, feel free to do so. I will try to monitor the chat as best as I can, but also at the end, if you have any questions, I'll answer them then. All right, so the first thing that I want to show you guys is actually within your case. So if you hop into any of your cases, you'll see first the case dashboard. And there's actually a lot of information on here. It's not information that really goes anywhere, but it is information that's used. It's kind of just for your reference about your case. So it shows like your chapter number. Usually if there is a filing number, it will be displayed up here, and then the status of the case and whatnot. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a few things. The first is the document checklist. This is very handy because if you use NextMessage, it is also integrated with one of your NextMessage recipes. But it also is good just for tracking for your firm. So if you're waiting on certain documents from your client, if you can check any ones that you've already received, and then you'll just see the ones that you are still waiting on. This one, it looks like we're waiting on 2. And then if you want to send this to your client, like maybe you want to send this in an email, you can always download this list. So anytime you see this little printer icon, that means you can download it. So we'll just click this icon, and then you'll have your document checklist. So it displays the list exactly as you see it on your case dashboard, and then it even has the case name. So that's just a handy little tool. If you want to use it, you can download it, send it in an email. Or if you use NextMessage, you can send it in a text. The other, just looking at my notes here, the other thing to go over here on the case dashboard is this fees tab. So we give you the ability to track any fees and any payments, and you can do this directly in your case on the case dashboard. So if you have a new fee for the case, you'll just click fee, click to add the fee. You can write your description, write the amount, save and close. It will update this list. And then same with payments. If you receive any payments, enter those in here. It will also update this little tracker for your fees. And then let's say you want to send this to your client as maybe an invoice. You can always download it. So just like that printer icon, also if you see this downward arrow icon, that will also download anything that you see in Next Chapter. So you can click download, and just like the document checklist, you'll see your firm name, the contact info, and also the case name. And then as you scroll down, you'll see all of the transactions. So you'll see all of the fees that you listed, and then all of the payments as well. And even the date that we downloaded this. And at the bottom, you'll see a nice balance, and it even says receipt for payment. So if you want to download this, just click download, and you can send it to your client if needed. The other section on your case dashboard, which is very helpful, is this quick info tab. So again, you'll come to your case dashboard, click the drop down, and you'll see under quick info, you'll see several different fields. So you'll see your status. This is totally customizable. Everything in the quick info tab is customizable within your account settings. So these statuses, you can set these up in account settings. We have ones that are already in there, but you are welcome to rename, edit, add, delete any of them. Same with any of these events. You can track all of these events for your clients. So I think we have just a few that we've already included when you first start with Next Chapter, but add as many as you want. If you have several different dates that you want to track for your clients, feel free to add these in here. These can also be integrated with your NextMessage recipes if that's something that you have on your account. And then lastly, we have just custom fields that you can track within your cases. So sometimes we have firms that have several different paralegals. So they just add this custom field in their account settings for paralegal name. And then they can just type in who is filing or working on this case for their account. So to adjust any of these things in your account settings, you'll just come up here, click your firm name, go to My Account Settings, and then you'll scroll down to the Quick Info tab. So it's named exactly the same as it is on the case dashboard. It's under Firm Defaults, and then it's titled Quick Info. So you'll click Quick Info, and then these are all those statuses that you saw in the dropdown on the case dashboard. Like I said, we have some that are just already in here, but you can delete or rename any of them. Or if you want to add a new one, just type in the new status here, click Save. It will update and add to this list. With the firm created events, that works very much the same way. If you need to adjust any of the ones that we automatically have in here, just click this pen and paper icon. And also, if you want to delete, just delete them with that trash can icon. If you have a new one that you want to set up, so like I said, you can track as many events as you want, you can click New Event up here, enter the event name, the duration. So if it's something short, like a quick phone call, you can just add 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, just so it doesn't take up your entire firm calendar. And then you can enter the description, save and close. That will automatically update as an event on all of your cases going forward. That is also important to mention. Anything that you add in your account settings will update for cases only going forward. It's not going to backfill any of your cases. So if you add a new event or status or field, it's not going to be added to anything that you've already created in NextChapter. It will only be applied to those new cases. And then lastly, we have, so like I said, if you want to add paralegal names, sometimes we have people that add an adversary number, whatever you need to add to track on your cases, you can add here. Just type it in, click Save. It will automatically update to that Quick Info tab. And then with this Quick Info tab, anything that you add here and then is also applied to your cases, you can then track on your full case list. So that is something else I want to go over, just showing you how to manage your full case list. So if you go to your home page, you'll see your recent case list. But if you want to view all of your cases, just click View All. And this will take you to your full case list. So this is every case that you have created in NextChapter. And then based on all of those fields that you entered in Quick Info in account settings, we're going to add all of those columns here on your full case list. So you can scroll to the right and see all of those fields. If maybe you want to view the list without seeing all of these columns, you want to turn some of them off, you can absolutely do that. So just click this columns button at the top, and then you can toggle these to on or off. Like maybe you want to see the debtor address, but you don't care about the client prefix. Just toggle those off. Whatever you don't want to see, toggle them off, come back to your full case list, and then you can download that. So you can download this list and it will export to a CSV. So sometimes firms maybe use that like with their debtor addresses if they want to use it for mailing purposes or whatever reason you need to download the list, you have that ability in NextChapter. And then a few other things that you can do at this point. One would be you can duplicate a case. So maybe you have a case that you filed, but then it was dismissed, or you have one that you want to change to a Chapter 13, whatever your circumstance is, you can do that by duplicating. So you'll just come to your full case list view, check the box next to whichever case you want to copy, and then you'll click duplicate at the top. You'll see that field kind of highlight as you click a box. So you click duplicate. Once you do that, you'll see an exact copy of the case with the same case name. It will also include all of its contents. And then you can also follow those same steps to archive a case. So what archiving will do is it will remove it from your full case list. So if we decide to archive this case, you just check the box, click archive at the top. it will remove it from this full case view, but then you'll still have access to it if you would ever need to see it again. So to view any archived cases as well, you'll again come to your full case list. You'll click this filter button at the top and then just check the box to include archive. Once you check that box, the list will update. It will show you any cases that have been archived. I'm not seeing any in here just quickly, but if you have an archived case, it will say archived in parentheses next to the case name. We did have one of our users leave a comment, so thank you, Susan. Yes, for the debtor address field, it is pulling from the residential address and not the mailing address. So that is something to keep in mind if you are using it for mailing purposes. I know sometimes clients have different mailing addresses than their residential address, but we are just pulling that debtor address from the residential address that you have listed in client profile debtor addresses. All right, so let me hop back to your case dashboard. The last thing on the case dashboard that I just want to point out is the timer. So we do have a time tracker. This is going to keep track of all the time that has been spent in your case. It's taking a minute to load, I think, just because we have so many hours listed on this case. It's probably one that we demo in and test in all the time. So as you can see, there's over 230 hours in here. But we do track any time that Johnny and Julie Appleseed is open. We're going to track the time and report it. You have the option to edit any of these times or just simply delete them. Like, I know maybe if you leave for lunch or if you accidentally leave it open and the time is just going on and on, you didn't want to report that time, you can absolutely delete that. So you don't have to have, this isn't just a permanent thing. You have access to edit it. Something else you can do with this time tracker is filter by the user. So if we're in Atticus Finch, which is just the attorney we have for this account, we can see that that person has spent 227 hours in here. So they've spent a lot of time in here, but maybe we want to filter to the other user to see how much time was spent in the case from that user. So we'll scroll down to Melissa, and we can see that she's not spent as much time in here. So that's useful if you have multiple people working on a case and you just want to see who is doing what in each case or who's spending what kind of time in each case, or you can always just click all. And if it updates, it will just show, there we go, the total time spent in the case. This is nice maybe if you bill hourly or if you just want to see how long each case is taking. This is a good tool to use. All right, so another feature that is probably not overlooked, but just really good to point out is that we do have a preview button. So this preview button in the top right will always enable you to preview the forms that you have being populated at NextChapter. So as you're working through your case, this will show you how the information you're adding in NextChapter is populating on the form. So we've entered most of this information in the client profile section. So this is how it's populating on the voluntary petition. Usually whichever section you're working in NextChapter, like if I'm in personal property, so we'll go to personal items. So if I'm working in this section and then I'm like, well, how's it looking on the form? Usually when you click preview, it will kind of intuitively go to the schedule that you've been working on. So since we were in personal property, it's automatically taking us to Schedule AB. And then we can look at how that information we're entering is appearing on the actual form. So it's always just kind of a good tool to use, maybe to just check and see what you're doing. We have a question here. What is the question mark on the 11.5 entry? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but this is just a demo account. So sometimes we just have random things that we've entered for testing purposes. But you can enter whichever description you want for your entries. So maybe if you want to mark like, oh, I was working on this for this amount of time, you can add that as a description to all of your times. The next part that I want to show you is this additional document section. We have a forms library section, which is nice because it includes a lot of, not a lot, but a few federal forms. And then we automatically pull all of your district specific forms. We take these exactly from your court website, and then we put them into your cases in NextChapter. And something to point out here is that if you see this create button next to any of your forms, this means that we auto-complete it in NextChapter. So if we just look at the fee waiver form quickly and click create, you see that we're just asking for a few pieces of information from you. And then once you answer those questions, you can save to client document storage. The rest of the form, we're using all of the information that you've previously entered in the case, and then we're populating that on the form. So we're not making you do any additional work for this form. This is just questions that we don't know based on the information that you've already entered. So we have this option for all of these federal forms that we have listed at the top, but we also give you the option for a few of your district forms. These are all user requested. So if you have one that you're just using like on every case and we don't have the ability for you to auto-complete it yet, just let us know. We can get that mapped and then we'll add it to your forms library. So like this one, this district, we have this form with the ability to auto-complete, and then we have a few other ones. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If you have a form that you are using all the time, just let us know. All right, the other section in additional documents is download history. This is something that I'm not sure if a lot of people know about. Anything that you download through NextChapter in your download and print section, anything that you download there will be kept in download history. You can always delete it. Like if you were just downloading something for a testing purpose, you can delete it and you don't need to, keep it here. But yeah, anything else that you download, it will be housed here. Anything that you also file through NextChapter, you'll see those appear here with filed in parentheses. So then if you want to view them quickly, just to see like, well, which actual form was filed with NextChapter, you can click this eyeball icon and then it will show you quickly, this is the file. This is what was actually filed with the court. If you want to download anything quickly from this point, you can just click that downward arrow icon. That will quickly download it. The only thing that we're not going to store here that you might have downloaded through NextChapter is the statement of Social Security. That's something that we just never store on the app because it has the Social Security number. So just keep in mind, if you download that and it's correct and you want to keep it, make sure you save it to your computer. Okay, so the other thing to show you here is that we're in review and file. Oh, it looks like we have something we need to tend to. So this is something to point out too. When you get to review and file, you want to make sure that you have all 7 green check marks. If you don't have all 7 green check marks, you can click review and it will take you back exactly to the section that you need to update. So it looks like we just need to have a current, there we go, a current certificate on file. We'll get another one here. So then when you go to review and file, you'll see these green check marks. This is a demo account again, so it's not going to be, it's not going to follow the total process, but for this attorney profile section, we can kind of disregard it anyways because we're not going to go through the full filing process. I'm just going to show you guys something quickly. But if you ever do have one of these exclamation points and like I said, review will take you back directly to the section, but if you click help, it will also tell you what is missing. So it'll just be this little pop-up that's going to say, this is what you need to do. And then review will take you back to that section. So then you go to assemble. We'll say that you file your whole template. We'll proceed to file, click OK. We choose our division, enter the socials. Okay, so now we're ready to file. We can begin the filing process if we choose to. However, you do have the option to fully preview your filing. This will be exactly what's going to file with the court. So if you click preview filing, it's going to show you your entire packet. So all of your schedules, your voluntary petition, it's going to show you everything. And then it will show you also any additional documents that you've added. So I didn't do that before I showed you guys this step, but it is showing you any forms that are filed with separate event codes. So you'll see them. Like, this is the entire packet. As it says bankruptcy petition at the top, it's showing all of these forms are in the packet. Now, a separate event code is this statement of current monthly income. So this is filing under its separate event. You can see because it has a totally separate section on this left-hand side. And then same with the other means test section form. It's showing you that it's filing with a totally separate event code. And then from here, you can click start ECF filing, or you can just X out and click start ECF filing. So that's something good to know, because I think some users feel like you're just kind of blindly filing everything. You don't really know what all the forms are that are going to be filed until after it's filed, and you're like, wait, I meant to file more than that. So that's always a good check before you officially start the filing process. So the last thing that I'll point out here is that we do have these little progress trackers on the side. This is good if you just want to remind yourself of something, or if you have multiple people who are working on the case and they need to know what's been finished and what hasn't been. So if we go to property and then we're in vehicles owned, you'll see that. Here, let's click on this section. So we're working in vehicles owned. And then if you have neither of these selected, so neither of these are checked in orange, that means that it's totally not been started. But if you check one of them, that means that it's in progress. And you can see it just kind of hovers. If you hover over it, you can see that in progress pop up. And then if you check the other one, it'll say completed. So you totally don't have to use this. It's just something that is available if you would like to use it. So maybe if you just mark this as in progress, you want to remind yourself like, oh, I still have to finish that section. Again, just something handy for you to use as a user. All right. That about wraps it up for all of the features that I have written down. If you guys have any other questions about certain features, feel free to ask them now. I don't see any additional questions here, but if you do have any after this webinar, feel free to use this chat icon and just chat us directly. We have a few members of the support team. We're all here to help. Or you can call us or email us. We're all here to help. But thank you again for joining us today. Let me know if you have any questions.